the wake of nationwide protests for the disbursement of EndSARS, who are alleged to have harassed and killed innocent Nigerian youths suspected to be internet fraudsters, the Inspector General of Police, who had earlier announced the disbandment of the unit, had set up a new police outfit to take over from the dissolved unit of the force. The new outfit, known as Special Weapons and Tactics Team, SWAT, will fill in the gaps arising from the dissolution of SARS. As Nigerians call for the total reform of the police, one key area that change is expected is the adoption of technology, emerging technology that will play a fundamental role and improve the way police interact with citizens. We have been joined by Victor Tubotamuno, Chief Executive Officer, Spurbuddy Technologies Limited, for an analysis of this. All right, Victor, it's a pleasure having you. I think the conversation will slant towards cybersecurity, because if the major thrust of what, FSAS officers are always going on the heels of the young people for is the fact that most of them engage in internet fraud and cybersecurity crimes. I mean, what's the firewall threshold like? And how can the police force effectively develop a viable cybersecurity unit to be able to fight these emerging forms of crime?
Okay, thank you. Good morning. Thank you for having me. So before we even go talking about what particular technologies the police force would employ in fighting cybercrimes, I think first there needs to be a fundamental, which is the basic infrastructure in setting up that would enable the technologies, and that has to do with the telecoms infrastructure and power. Do we even have those two infrastructures in place? Because for you to also fight cybersecurity, you need data. And how do you harness data? How do you get data and allow the data to be decentralized using the technology? You need those two basic infrastructures. For the police to actually fight cybercrime, it's all about intelligence gathering, and there are softwares developed for this. But before you even go about that, it's collaboration. If you look at the global police or intelligence units, let's say like the FBI, for them to carry out a basic attack, a basic response investigation, or a particular movement for a particular crime, like cybercrime, you could see the basic collaborations that they put in place. It's not just something only, what they could even employ other persons, get external forces to put this. So collaboration is first in the tool in fighting this cybercrime. That's one. Then secondly is the adoption of emerging technologies. I really do not know how sincere they are in what they currently have, and how best they could develop on the solutions they have is what we would be looking out for.
Well, Victor, there are some people, in the light of the recent Lekki toll gate protests and the EndSARS protests across Nigeria, who have been saying that in terms of adopting technology, the minimum that the Nigeria police should do is to make sure that they wear body cameras. Now, talking about cameras, we then subsequently had this development whereby we were told that the CCTV cameras at the Lekki toll gate, they didn't function once it was 8 p.m. The first, CCTV cameras in the world that will go off at particular times. At a point in this country, there was also CCTV contracts by the police in Abuja, I guess, but till today, nobody knows what happened with that. What is the guarantee that even if the police or any security agency adopts technology, that it will work? And where will the money come from?
Okay, thank you. So that's why it takes us back to the basic points. And what are the basic elements? Is three things, right? One is sincerity, coming out open to say we really want to do this and we are open enough, we really want to carry this out. Secondly is mind reform. Now, mind reform, because technology is just an enabler. Body cam is just a technology which is an enabler. Somebody operates through the technology. So you need to first reform that person's mind, because even with the body cam, it still would not stop any action from happening. Well, look at the U.S., the George Floyd's case. We understood carefully what happened, but the guy was on body cam, and that was what gave us the clear footage of what really happened. But it still did not stop the attack. So we should first focus on mind reform. How do we reform the Nigerian police force? What is the training they undergo? What is the recruitment process of the Nigerian police force? I think that it's a systemic issue, so we have to start from tackling it from the grassroots first, is training these people to make sure that whatever technology we're adopting can be used, because whatever technology we do adopt is being manned by humans, and we need to first of all reform those humans before we even give them any technology to work upon. If it's about how this technology will function, globally it has been functioning, so I don't see any reason why it won't function in this country. So that comes into play issues of integrity and the rest. So for me, I feel there are basic human elements that needs to be sorted out.
Earlier on this year, the Inspector General of Police reeled out quite a dizzying list of materials, resources that the police force needed, including 774 drones, 250,000 rifles, 1,000 APCs. Do you see any low-hanging fruits here? What's the immediate priority that you'd like the police to address? Because it all seems so daunting.
Okay, so let's take a look at what sparked up this whole protest and everything, right? We're talking about police brutality. So if we're looking at the issues, let's map out what are the basic challenges in Nigerian police, what citizens are clamoring for change. One is citizens' interaction and the police field operation, right? That's comes about police brutality, the extortions and everything. How do we use technology in applying that or solving that? Another is crime management. What are the basic technologies we could use in solving crime management, right? Another is also the investigation and intelligence gathering structure. How do the police get this? It's funny enough, in this country, they arrest you first before they even tell you what you did or start bringing up investigations and everything. And of course, transparency in the police force, how they run through the systems, and training and recruitment. So for us, these are the basic elements. And technology adoption for these little ones we could see can go as well as just the drone, like you rightly stated. It's simple. Also, Internet of Things, IoT, putting smart sensors on the road before. Okay, now, so the police do normal patrol, and in their patrol structure, they have the stop and search. They say, we want to see if you're carrying gun or whatever, or you're carrying drugs or whatever. With smart sensor, which is powered by Internet of Things, I really do not need a police officer to run through the patrol structure, right? Just with my smart sensors planted in specific locations across the streets or whatever it is, it could basically pick that, and that goes back to the question again. It picks data, right? So harnessing data. So we could work with IoT. That's also not difficult to do. Also, artificial intelligence in terms of predictive policing is also not difficult to do. These are, I think, for now, the low-hanging fruit we could basically just peel out from what it is.
I mean, I would have loved to open up a big conversation with you about forensics, but we don't have the time definitely for that. I will just say thank you so much.
Everything is easy to do in other parts of the world, but in Nigeria, things that are easy elsewhere tend to end up being difficult here.
All right.
Thank you very much, Tubotamuno, for joining us on The Morning Show.